The laughter echoed through the massive training gym before the tryouts had even begun. Every eye turned toward a tired-looking man carrying an old duffel bag over one shoulder while holding the tiny hand of his 7-year-old son. His shirt was neatly pressed but faded from years of washing, and the dark circles beneath his eyes told a story of sleepless nights. Some of the applicants smirked. Others whispered that he looked more like a struggling delivery driver than someone capable of protecting one of America's most powerful CEOs. They had already decided he didn't belong there. But before the day was over, every person in that room would witness something they would never forget. If you believe kindness and second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel Kindness Forever. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that inspire hope. The man's name was Michael Carter, a 36-year-old single father living in Dallas, Texas. 3 years earlier, his wife had passed away after a sudden illness, leaving him to raise his son, Noah, completely alone. Since then, Michael worked every job he could find. Construction, warehouse shifts, night security, food deliveries, anything that kept food on the table and allowed Noah to stay in school. Most people never knew that before life knocked him down, Michael had spent nearly 10 years serving in an elite military protection unit. He had quietly walked away after tragedy struck, choosing fatherhood over prestige. His medals remained hidden inside a dusty box beneath his bed because survival mattered more than memories. When Michael heard that billionaire CEO Jonathan Brooks was personally searching for a new head bodyguard after several security concerns, he saw more than a job. He saw stability. He saw health insurance. He saw a chance to finally give Noah the childhood he deserved. Unable to afford childcare that morning, he brought Noah with him, asking him to quietly sit in the waiting area with a book while the tryouts took place. The other applicants looked like professional athletes. Their muscles filled expensive compression shirts. They laughed loudly, compared fitness records, and showed videos of weightlifting competitions. One especially confident competitor named Ryan Foster couldn't stop smiling whenever he looked at Michael. To him, Michael's worn shoes and tired expression made him an easy target. The room filled with jokes about diapers, bedtime stories, and soccer practice. Michael heard every word, but he simply smiled at Noah before walking toward the training floor. The evaluators first tested endurance, awareness, and reaction time. Michael completed every obstacle with calm precision instead of flashy speed. He noticed hidden threats others ignored. He remembered every face after only one glance. He stayed relaxed while everyone else tried to impress the judges. Some applicants laughed, believing he wasn't taking the competition seriously. What they didn't realize was that real protection wasn't about showing off. It was about staying alive when everything went wrong. Finally came the last challenge. The CEO himself announced that every finalist would spar against Ryan, the undefeated regional combat champion known as the strongest man in the room. Several applicants lasted less than 30 seconds. One lasted barely 10. Ryan celebrated each victory with an arrogant grin as applause filled the gym. When Michael's turn arrived, silence spread through the building. Ryan smirked as if the outcome had already been decided. Noah watched nervously from the corner, clutching his backpack with both hands. The signal began. Ryan exploded forward with overwhelming power, expecting another easy victory. But Michael never panicked. His movements were small, controlled, and effortless. Years of discipline guided every step. He slipped past the first attack by inches, redirected Ryan's momentum, and within seconds the larger man lost his balance. Before anyone understood what had happened, Michael executed one perfectly timed defensive technique that sent Ryan crashing onto the padded floor. The impact echoed across the silent gym. No cheering followed. Only stunned disbelief. Ryan tried to stand, but Michael calmly stepped back without celebrating. The entire exchange had lasted less than 8 seconds. The judges stared at one another. Jonathan Brooks slowly stood from his chair, not because he was impressed by the takedown itself, but because he had recognized something far more valuable. Michael had used only the force necessary. No anger. No ego. No unnecessary violence. Just complete control. After the demonstration, Jonathan asked about Michael's past. For the first time in years, Michael quietly shared the story he had spent so long hiding. He spoke about military service, about losing his wife, about raising Noah alone, and about taking any honest job simply to keep moving forward. There wasn't a trace of self-pity in his voice. Only gratitude that he still had his son. Jonathan looked toward Noah, who ran across the gym and hugged his father tightly. That simple moment said more than any resume ever could. Michael wasn't just protecting one child every day. He was already living the life of a protector. Jonathan immediately offered Michael the position as his personal head of security with a salary that completely changed their lives. More importantly, he adjusted the company's family policies after hearing Michael's story, creating emergency childcare assistance and flexible schedules for employees facing similar struggles. One father's quiet courage ended up helping hundreds of other families. Months later, Noah proudly watched his father walk into work wearing a tailored security suit instead of worn-out work clothes. Their small apartment became a comfortable home. Bedtime worries turned into bedtime dreams. Michael never forgot where he came from, and he treated every employee, from janitors to executives, with the same respect he had once wished others would show him. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share this video, and subscribe to Kindness Forever. Your support helps spread stories of hope, courage, and compassion to people who need them most. Special request: before this story ends, please comment, "Kindness always wins," if you believe a person's character matters more than appearances. The people who mocked Michael thought strength came from muscles, expensive clothes, and loud confidence. But true strength was built through sacrifice, sleepless nights, heartbreak, and the quiet determination to keep going for someone you love. That day, the strongest man in the room wasn't the one who looked the toughest. It was the father who refused to let life's hardships make him bitter. And sometimes, the greatest victories don't begin with revenge, they begin with kindness, humility, and the courage to stand back up when the world expects you to stay down.